Yes, well, this is the relationship between context and content. And this is very important to realize because this is linear, this is definable, and the lower mind comprehends this. Then this event, however, occurs in a proximate field. That's recognized with situational ethics. It's also recognized in court. That what happens here is also influenced by the proximate field, events surrounding it. So what would be, let's say, what would be a limitation of liberty depends on the context. In peacetime it would be, in wartime it would just be survival. So whether we say a thing is ethical or unethical, good or bad, legal or illegal, a crime or not a crime, depends on the situation, and even courts, of course, acknowledge the influence of situation. These, in turn, then, are within the overall infinite context of consciousness itself. So this is the most powerful, the most dominant. This becomes influential, and this is the sequencing we see within the linear domain. We see this sequencing within the linear domain, but we're not always aware of this, and most people forget about this altogether. Yeah? Okay. So we just did a diagram of it, and we could go over it again, and this time use, say, in the center of the diagram is the ego. It's linear, it's limited, it's predictable, definable, and that's the Newtonian paradigm of reality, which is measurable, yes, and provable. The proximate field, the somewhat bigger field, can be understood as semi-linear, semi-limited. It's random, non-linear, identifiable, describable, but it's more diffuse and generalized. The overall infinite context, which is what we drive to in all these classes, what we're trying to do is reach this infinite context, to realize that which you are, the self with a capital S, is the radiance of the infinite context of spirit, which is totally unlimited, nonlinear, experiential. So today we're talking about experiential reality. How do you bypass all of this so that you can begin to intuit and then experience that source of self within? And that's a potentiality, which is timeless, non-local, knowable. Okay, that takes us through a great deal of information. The spiritual foundations. People say, we get all kinds of emails, what can I do to advance myself? And I say, well, you can begin by behaving. Just be polite, yeah? These are things that you don't have to become you don't have to join an ashram. You don't have to shave your head and wear sandals. You don't have to take any oaths or commit yourself. These are things that uplift you more than you realize. To be available to others, to be considerate. Just being considerate, you see, it's very it's loving to acknowledge other people, just to acknowledge them. And you can experiment with that in clerks in various stores. And you see, the minute you smile appreciatively and say, gee, thank you, they just go, bong. I mean, in other words, to do so is less common than you would think. You would think everybody would thank people for their service. But I've noticed that people are quite bowled over by it. So it must not be that common to just try to be decent and reliable, honest, to put in hard work, moral and ethical, to be, relatively kind, easygoing, thoughtful, to be relatively open to the suggestion of others, tolerant. You lose your calm, but you come back to it because calmness is where you're happy. You're happy with calm, and you're not happy with upset.